Hello everyone, welcome to Wind Down Wednesdays. I'm your host Paula Taylor and this is mini episode 4. I'm going to do my very best to keep this episode to about 20 minutes. We may go over just a little bit. There's a lot to cover in a short period of time, but I wanted to do this as a mini episode because I think it gives more people access to help out with this work that we're going to do today. So today I am going to invite you and guide you into serving your spiritual support team. And we'll get into why and exactly what I mean by that. But the first thing I want to say is, just very briefly, I'm all about service. I talk about service a lot. Why is service important? In like 30 seconds. How does service increase self-worth, first of all? Because self-worth has been coming up with like everyone that I've worked with this week. I almost called this finding self-worth through service, but we don't have to earn our self-worth. It's inherent. So I didn't want that, felt problematic to me. But what I will say is that it is scientifically shown that performing service does increase our self-worth. It makes us feel better about ourselves. Way back when I was 19 years old and I was seeing a therapist and I was having my probably second, but for really big dark night of the soul kind of trauma healing work, my therapist was trying to get me to volunteer for an organization because helping other people helps us feel better. That is scientifically shown. So performing service, while it is selfless, it can also be a little bit, not selfish, that's not the right word, but it serves us. The other way that service actually serves us is that what you give out comes back to you. And in the Wiccan community, they say what you give out comes back to you threefold. So when we perform service for others, we are actually going to receive back that love that we send out. And then on a quantum level, we are all one. We are all made of the same energy. We are all just different aspects of this energy experiencing itself. So whenever we give to someone else, whenever we serve, we are really serving ourselves. So that's why service, in like a really small soundbite, this is why service is important. This is how serving others also serves ourselves. And today what we're going to talk about is serving our spiritual support team. The whole job of your spiritual support team is to serve you. So serving them really does absolutely serve you. So just briefly, what do I mean by spiritual support team? These are the beings in the spiritual realm that are here to support you on your physical journey. Some people call them spirit guides, but there's a variety of beings that support us. So spirit guides are beings that have never been in a physical body that are here to support us. So ascended masters, beings of light, angels, archangels, whatever word you want to use for that. Pick something that doesn't feel triggering or problematic to you, but expanded beings that are not in a corporeal form, that are not in physical form, that are here to serve us. That's spirit guides. But we also have other members of our spiritual support team. I've been receiving a lot of support from my dragon lately because there's something going on with my other spiritual support, which we're going to talk about. That's the whole point of this show and what we're going to do today. So you're never alone. You've always got different types of guides around you, people who have passed on, lots of guides in that realm, ancestral support. So your physical DNA lineage, but you're also your energetic, your spiritual lineage. There is a legion of supporters for each one of us in the spiritual realm at all times. So I call them your spiritual support team because it includes all of these different types of beings that are supporting us. During our physical journey, they support us from the spiritual. So I'm going to do my best to keep this to about 10 minutes before we get into the 10-minute meditation. And this is a complex idea. And even for me, this may feel a little bit out there, but I encourage you to stick with me because even if you don't agree with what I'm saying, even if the words I'm saying aren't resonating with you, you have a spiritual support team and serving them serves you. What we are going to do is serve the collective today and ourselves. So stick around, or if you're listening to this later, you can fast forward through the next 10 minutes and just jump into the meditation if you don't want to get into this kind of esoteric idea that I'm going to share here that seems a little strange. And it took me a while to talk about this, and I didn't know how important it was till the other day, and I realized I needed to do a podcast. I needed to do it this week, and I needed to give people the option to help in a way that was guided, because that's kind of what I do. So just for topical reference, today is July 4th, 2024. Happy 4th of July if you're celebrating that. Tomorrow is the new moon, July 5th. That's important. But even if you're not watching or listening to this right around that time, this is something that's going to serve you and your spiritual support team at any point in time. So I was talking for a long time about something that was coming in the middle of this year. I've talked about the 3D, 5D timeline shift that we're still going. This is still happening. That's something that's happening over a long period. But then I kept receiving this information that something was going to happen on July 15th. At one point, I got information about solar flares coming in the middle of this year. That happened in May. So I was like, well, that's not it. I mean, I thought maybe it was more solar flares. I didn't know. That's one of the things about being a channel, about connecting to source, is that we receive information in divine timing. So sometimes we receive a little bit of information. Sometimes we receive a lot. Sometimes we receive really in-depth explanations. Sometimes we have to go a little bit on faith. So I just figured out this week exactly what happened on June 15th. And I figured out it was important to share that and why, and to invite you to help me in this work, because this is work that I can't do on my own. So the more of us that do this, the more we can help with this 3D, 5D shift, with this expansion of humanity, of bringing even more beautiful spiritual support into this physical plane of Earth. And the image that they gave me when I was like getting this information was the scene in Peter Pan when Tinkerbell is dying. She's like sick and dying. And they say, if you believe in fairies, then clap your hands. And then they try to get the whole audience to clap along. I'm not going to clap on the podcast because it'll be loud. But the idea is that your belief in this being is going to help this being recover in that case, or in our case, upgrade. This is also seen in the Neverending Story, this whole idea of this fantasy world or this world of dreams that's being taken over by the nothing because people aren't dreaming anymore. So this is actually an idea that is seen in various places in our history and our culture, this idea that our belief, our faith, is what actually allows for these spiritual beings to assist us. There's a little bit of that in here. So I'm going to do my best to do this in a way that makes sense and be fairly brief about it. So sometime last year, or maybe the beginning of this year, I've been doing this work, waiting for this shift that was going to happen on June 15th, since I've been aware of it since about August of last year, 2023. And part of this for me has been reclaiming and integrating my quantum body. We're going to do a whole episode on that, I think maybe next week, where I get into a lot of detail about that. We're not going to go into that now. That's just the work that I've been doing. And part of this work for me was becoming aware of this net of, to me, they appear as archangels. That word is triggering even for me. I'm getting better with it, but I have some religious trauma and baggage around that word. So if you don't like that word, higher level beings, expanded beings, beings of light, whatever word you want to use for that. These are beings that are just a little bit differentiated from source. So these are beings that have a little bit of a spiritual body. They're not just pure source. They have a light body. They're able to come and go in the physical realm, but we don't necessarily see them unless you have kind of clairvoyance or gifts that are sort of open for seeing them. I hear them, I sense them because I have clairaudience and that kind of stuff. Again, could be a totally different show. We're not going down that road. So I've been aware of this net, and to me, it comes in like a spider's web. So when a spider is in the center of their web, this is all about vibration. And so when a fly or something lands at the edge of the web, the spider can actually feel the vibration and they can go over there and get the fly or whatever. This feels like that to me. I have been aware of this net around the whole earth for some time now, and at the center of each of these little patches of this net, at first it was shown to me kind of like peacock feathers, how they have sometimes a circle. So the circle in the center of each of these little segments of net is a spiritual support being. Again, to me, they appear as archangels. If that word doesn't work for you, there's no problem with that. Insert a word that works. Beings of light is great. Spiritual support beings. When my archangel first appeared to me, everybody has a team, but I think everybody has a like one main kind of the contractor for your team, right? The leader, the coach who has to kind of organize everybody. Mine is Archangel Michael. When he first appeared to me, I was like, nah, I don't really do angels. So he's like, how about if I appear as He-Man? And I was like, oh, okay. So for a while, he was just He-Man to me because that was something that I could relate to. So it doesn't matter what you label these beings. Again, to me, the word that comes through is archangels. Some people like that word, some people don't. Beings of light, spiritual support beings, whatever you want to think of this as. So this whole net, there's these little segments all around the world of these spiritual beings, and they are here to help the world expand. They're here to help us in this transition into more heart-centered living, into being more unconditionally loving, into reclaiming and integrating our quantum bodies. Talk more about that in the future. And I've been aware of this for some time, and this sounds like a little bit of a side note, but this is important. It's going to come in. So this exists all over the world, and when I went to Bali, it's a really intense spiritual place. They call it the Earth Center of Kundalini. This is important. So Kundalini is in Kundalini Yoga. It's this idea of this coiled energy, this snake that sits at the base of the spine and kind of comes up and feeds this energy. It's like a fiery energy, very fiery energy in Bali. And when I got there, it feels like a very volatile place. It feels very fiery. And so the first thing I did was I sent my main spiritual guide out to meet these spiritual beings of the net that was right there in Bali. And I said, please go out and let these spiritual beings know that we are here with reverence. We are here to receive, but also to give. What can we do to give? How can we be respectful of this amazing, powerful land? Because it did feel really intense. And so I kind of sent an emissary to meet these beings and had a beautiful time, and they were very welcoming. And once we kind of explained that we were there to do no harm, I received a lot of support from the local spiritual beings in that area. Part of this net, right? And I can feel this net. I've been able to feel it all over the world. So what happened on June 15th is that the net went down. And it's a little bit disconcerting because my Archangel Michael is part of that net, and I lost contact with him, which was very strange. It went completely silent. I went into a cave with my friend to hear crystal bowls being played. We came out, the net was down. It was like complete silence. And it was interesting because the only guy that would come into the cave with me was Michael. That's a whole different story too. The cave was not real welcoming to human energy, has been kind of exploited, I think. So at first I didn't know what to make of this, and I thought, oh, maybe it's just a temporary thing, and I was kind of waiting for more information, and my primary guide wasn't there, and it was very sad. It was like we were holding hands and he was sort of yanked away from me, and there's a whole childhood story about not being able to contact him, so it brought up some stuff. It was very triggering for me. And so, but you always have support. Like I said, I've been working with my dragon, I've been working with unicorns. There's always different types of support. But one of the things that happened in this time when I've been kind of trying to figure this out is that Jesus showed up. And again, that may be triggering for you. It's always triggering for me. The priests I grew up with would be all rolling over in their graves or wherever they are. They'd be shaking their fists at me when I say, like, I'm not a big fan of Jesus. Just have a lot of baggage around that. Again, you could think of him as any ascended master, just somebody who's lived on this planet who really kind of mastered this quantum body stuff. Somebody who was able to use their quantum body, and he's not been the only one. But I mention it because if it's triggering to me, there's a reason for it. There's something that I've been working through. So he came, whenever he comes, I'm always like, oh, it's you. Okay. What can I do for you? What do you need from me? And so funny because he has been really helpful in stepping into this vacuum and sort of explaining to me what's going on. So the image that he gave me about this net and all these archangels or spiritual beings was that the image they showed me is when you have updates for your computer and you get that little screen and it says updates in progress, and sometimes there's like one of 285 updates being done, and it's just spinning, and sometimes on your computer it could take hours or even like a whole day for all of these upgrades, these updates to happen. And then you have to reboot your computer to have access to these updates, to these upgrades. So that's the image that he showed me when I was like, what is going on with this net? What happened to Michael? I can't feel any of these beings anymore. What is happening? And the other image I got was like those cryostasis pods on like a sci-fi movie. If they're going on a long space journey, they go into these like cryopods where they're sort of in stasis. So this net has been in stasis, has been dormant since June 15th, and today is July 4th. That's a long time. I've been getting a little bit worried about this, and I keep asking, I recognize they're getting upgrades, and that's amazing. And when does it come back online? And the information I got the other day was that there's not enough power to restart this computer, essentially. So whenever your computer's updating, there's always a little warning there that says, please do not unplug during this process. And it's because the computer needs power for the updates, but then it needs even more power to restart. And there's not enough power, there's not enough spiritual support, there's not enough unconditional love right now to restart this computer, this net, to power this net back up. When it does power up, and I have a story about that briefly, it's going to be amazing. So about a week ago, I got so excited because I felt a tug on that net in Bali. And I was like over in that area of the world. And I was like, oh my gosh, someone's awake. And I got so excited, and I went over there spiritually. And I was like, oh, you guys are back online. I'm so excited. This is amazing. And they said, yes, this is where this power will come from. This is where the restart happens. This is kind of the power of the CPU. Again, makes total sense if Bali is kind of the kundalini of the world, the root and sacral chakra generating energy. But they were not awake for very long. When they were awake, it was so amazing. And I thought, oh my gosh, when everybody comes back online, this is going to be intense in the most wonderful way. This is absolutely part of that 3D to 5D shift, this like expansion that we're going through. But the information that came through, they went back into stasis after maybe about 24 hours or so. And that's when I was like, okay, what is happening here? I thought this was coming back online. And that's when I got this information. There's not enough power to restart this grid right now. What? Like, that was sad. It made me upset. It made me feel a little bit scared. It made me wonder, what can I do? That was my question. How can I be of service? And that is when they gave me this idea of this Peter Pan, if you believe in fairies, then clap your hands. So what I am asking you to do with me, whether you're here live, whether you're listening to this later, the information I kept getting was that this is going to restart on the new moon, which is tomorrow, July 5th, but nothing's exact in time. The time in the spiritual realm is different than the time in the physical. We can help give this computer enough power to restart. We want this grid online. This grid is here to serve us. All of these beings in this grid, whatever type of beings they are, whatever word you want to use for it, they serve us. So you have beings that are serving in your immediate sort of piece of the grid. You have beings that are serving your friends and family. You have beings that are serving your community. You have beings that are serving your country. You have beings that are serving the entire earth. We are going to step into guidance today, and I am going to channel guiding you through powering this grid up with me, because we can't do this. I can't do this alone. The more of us there are, the more power we can send to this grid. And the beautiful thing about collective work, one of the reasons I started this show, is what I talk about as Gestalt. This idea that each of us alone has a certain amount of power, like in this case. But if we come together, the sum of our parts, all of us together, is more than each of us individually. There is something about us doing collective work that elevates the work, that expands the work, that gives it even more power. So you might think everything I just said is a whole load of crap. Totally fine. Maybe didn't resonate with you. I'm asking you to do this, if for nothing else, do this for yourself, because you have a spiritual support team in your little segment of that grid. I'm going to guide you through giving to that, just to yourself, to your own spiritual support team. Listen, these beings work their butt off for us. We are hard to support. We have all of this trauma frequency, all of this lack of self-worth, lack of trust, lack of connection to our intuition. They are working their little tails off to keep us supported in this realm, to keep us physically safe. When Michael first showed up, he showed me all these times in my life where he physically protected me from getting really badly hurt or even killed. That is one of the things they do. When we are doing this spiritual work, they are always there to support us. So if nothing else, do this out of gratitude for your personal support team. They give so much to you. Give something back to them. I'm going to guide you through this to start locally with yourself and then move out. So at any point along that expansion, you can stop. You don't have to focus energy in that area around Bali as we were going to do and send to that. Just focusing on your own grid is going to help the whole grid. Everything is connected. This is an actual physical, visual, feeling representation of how we are all connected via this web of energy. And so giving to any part of this web will help empower the whole thing. If you'd like to serve the collective with me, if you'd like to serve this collective expansion, here is something practically you can do during this 10-minute guided meditation to give to your personal grid, the grid around you, the entire grid, and especially this like battery source here over in Bali. Now I know why I was so called to go to Bali this year. Never had like an inkling to go there before. And a path was created for me to go there to really directly connect with that space for this moment, I believe. And I have been doing this work since I received this information, but it's not enough for just me to do it. So share this episode. I am going to do a TikTok video on this as well. As soon as I can get this posted to the podcast streaming services, usually takes about 24 hours to get there. I share this. Do it multiple times. Invite your friends and family to do it. This is really powerful work, and this is a place where you can make a difference. I can't do this alone, but if 5 other people join me, that amplifies to maybe the power of 10. If 10 people join me, that amplifies to the power of 100. If 100 people join me, that amplifies to the power of 1,000. We have so much power together. We receive so much, whether we're aware of it or not. And gratitude is love. So part of this is gratitude. Gratitude for the support you are receiving that has brought you to this point in your life, whether or not you were aware of it. So let's meditate together. So for this meditation, I encourage you to sit up if possible. We are going to be channeling energy. We are going to be directing energy. And being in an upright position aligns you with the earth in such a way that you're in a really good position of flow to channel through your crown, to draw energy from the earth, to send that energy out from your hands, from your heart, just with intention, however it feels most comfortable to you. If it's not accessible or comfortable to sit up, that's fine. You can lie down, but that's my suggestion. And as we always do, we're going to start with 3 to 5 deep oxytocin breaths. We want to center ourselves. We want to ground ourselves before we start sending energy. We want to be in a neutral space. So we don't want to be in a triggered fight, flight, freeze, or fawn response. We want to be in that rest and digest as much as is accessible. So we're going to take a nice deep breath in through the nose. We're going to sigh that breath out audibly using a ha sound from high to low, vibrating the nerves that in turn vibrate the vagus nerve, telling the body that it's safe. It's safe to be home. It's safe to ground. It's safe to arrive and be centered. So nice big breath. I'll do one with you. least 2 to 4 or 5 more of those in through the nose, sighing that breath out. As you breathe in, you're going to imagine the crown chakra, the top of your head, opening. We're going to allow this to open all the way for this guided channeling session. And then I will direct you to close it somewhat at the end. But for right now, I am creating a safe space for us to do this collective work. So just allow that crown chakra, just set the intention to open it as much as it can open. And with each in-breath, just draw that beautiful source energy, that unconditional love that is the fabric of this web, of all of the pieces of the universe. Draw this source energy in through your head. Let it come down through the neck and throat into the heart space, especially. You might even put a hand on the heart. Take another breath. Draw that breath into the heart, and as you sigh that breath out, just let that energy flow down the torso, down through your belly, down through your hips, all the way down through your legs into the earth. And on your next inhale, draw that beautiful energy up from the earth, this rich support of our mother, the planet, drawing that up through your legs and your hips and your belly, letting it meet source energy at the heart. And then as you exhale, just send that energy out around your body, into the room around you, into the space you're sitting in. So you're completely filled with energy now. You're filled with source energy. You're filled with earth energy. Just sit for a moment, notice the shift there. You can continue with the deep breaths. Anytime you feel like you need to release, you can breathe out through the mouth. Just coming centered, coming grounded here. We are going to join in a really powerful collective practice of channeling energy, sending energy. All you need for this is to be present and to set intention. And I will help you with that part. It can feel really nice to use your hands as a visual representation of sending energy. You might have already noticed your hands are heating up. That's that Reiki, that universal life force energy that flows in through the crown, down through the heart, out through the hands. You don't need to be attuned to use Reiki. You can use intention, you can use your hands, whatever feels good to you. What we are going to start with is just a moment of gratitude. Maybe again, place your hands on your heart. Send gratitude to your spiritual support team, your personal spiritual support team. These are beings that support you in all moments of your life. They are there cheering you on. They are there holding you up when you've fallen, picking you up, carrying you. So much love coming from the spiritual support team, and we tend to ignore them. We tend to ignore their messages. We tend to be disconnected, or even if we are, we tend to take this for granted. And this is such an amazing service the universe has provided for us. This plane is dense. It can be difficult being in a physical body. So having this team around you to support you is such an amazing gift. So start with gratitude. And already with gratitude, we're sending energy. If you want to, you can place your hands kind of out or up in your lap to allow that energy to channel, give you a little bit of a visual representation. What we're doing right now is sending energy into this little area of our net, our personal spiritual support team. Even if you're not aware of who's there, just send this energy. We're sending love, we're sending gratitude. We are sending power to this aspect of this beautiful net that connects all beings on this planet. This net of spiritual support, this grid. Sending this energy into the area around your body, maybe the room you're sitting in, supporting this net. You can just imagine that you're sending this energy to this beautiful net, this spider web of energetic filaments that connect us all with each other, that connect you with your spiritual support team. If you know and have a personal relationship with your own personal support team, you can send energy to them directly as well. But you can make this very general. And we're going to affirm out loud, if possible, I send love and light to my spiritual support team. I am so grateful for all the support I receive from this team of beings. I send love and gratitude to my spiritual support team. You can stay with this, just focusing on your immediate area of this beautiful web, of this beautiful net, of your own personal support team. If you'd like to move on, then just set your intention that you are now directing this love, this gratitude, this energy to this larger net of energy in your life. So your friends, your family, the people you interact with on a daily basis, maybe your work, your school. This is like the larger bubble of your life, still a personal bubble, but not you personally, the people that you interact with, the immediate space around your personal bubble, powering up this part of the grid, sending gratitude, sending love, using those affirmations if it feels good as well. I am so grateful for all of the spiritual support that is available to me and my loved ones. I send love and gratitude to the spiritual support team of everyone I've ever encountered. Thank you. And again, you can stay here, or you can continue to kind of expand this out to include the town or the region that you live in. Again, you can use your hands. Here you can just use intention. Sending energy, sending love, sending gratitude out through this beautiful net, this beautiful web that weaves us all together as one source, as one being, many different aspects of source experiencing itself. Sending this energy out to the town you live in, to the region you live in. Lighting this up. If you're visual, you might picture golden light coming out from your body, from your hands, from your heart, through this beautiful web, through this net, into the entire town you live in, the region you live in. Again, sending gratitude, using those affirmations if it feels good. And you can stop at any point here. I'm going to continue guiding you out. There's no pressure around this. There's no judgment around this. If this feels like a good place to stop, then stop. If you'd like to move on, we're going to extend this energy we're offering to the country that you live in. Probably needs a lot of love if you're in the US with me. But anywhere you are, just extending this love and light, this gratitude to this beautiful web that is working so hard to support us, to keep us from destroying ourselves and each other, to invite us into more love, more expansion, more forgiveness, more softness, less judgment. This is the spiritual support that allows us to soften, that allows us to expand, that allows us to bring more love into our personal space. So give it love now. Give it gratitude now. Give this beautiful golden light of source energy into this web surrounding the entire country that you're in. If you're moving on, let it now expand to the continent you live on. Just allowing this power to flow into this beautiful web that has served us, that wants to serve us more, that just needs our faith, our belief, our love, our support. If it feels good, you can allow this to encompass the entire earth. Now you can actually allow yourself to come back as though you're looking at the earth from space and see this beautiful web, light this whole web up. Anywhere you've stopped along the way, just keep sending energy to that portion of the grid. There's no wrong way to do this. You're sending love, you're sending gratitude, you are powering up this grid, this web, this beautiful net. And then if it feels good to you, if you feel called, join me in focusing your energy in that area of Southeast Asia, of Bali, of the Indian Ocean. If you don't know where that is on a map and you're looking for a visual, it's northwest of Australia. But you don't have to know. You can just set the intention. This is that battery startup. This is that CPU that needs to be restarted, that's waiting for enough power, enough love, enough gratitude, enough belief and faith to restart this grid, to bring all of these beautiful beings back online to serve us in an even more expansive and loving way. We are still being served, but if we can give to this grid, if we can allow our open hearts, our 5D selves, our love, our expansiveness to give to this center, we have the power to help restart this. All of the upgrades have been made. All of the updates are ready. We just need enough power to turn the computer back on. So if it feels good to you, just focusing your energy now toward that region. You can stick with just powering up the entire grid of the earth. You can stick with your own personal area. All of this is serving. All of this is serving the collective. Just staying here for a moment, sending as much energy as you can, and noticing you might be getting hot, you might be feeling tingly. All of that is just a sign that you are moving energy. We are moving energy together. And again, as we move energy as a collective, we expand the power that we have as individuals by serving together, by sending energy together. Continue to send this energy to any part of this grid that feels good to you, any part of this net, this beautiful web. I'm going to support us with a little bit of sound in the last few moments here. Say Ashanata Kaima Sheatakama Yatakama. In the last moment here, just sending as much beautiful love, beautiful power, supported by the earth, supported by source energy, sending this all to the spiritual support team of the earth, to your personal team, to the team of your loved ones, of the people you meet. The more support we have and the more support we accept, the more beautiful we make this planet. So send this energy now for yourself, for those you love, for the planet at large, for the awakening of humanity. And please come back to this. Please do this multiple times if it feels good to you, if it calls to you. There's no pressure here. But as we serve others, as we serve the collective, we serve ourselves. As we call this energy through our bodies, we fuel our own bodies up. We channel this and we fuel ourselves. We refill our cup and we allow it to spill over with gratitude for those beings in the spiritual plane that have done so much beautiful, amazing work to support us in this difficult time on this planet. Knowing that you can come back here, just gently set the intention to allow yourself to release the energy that you're serving. You might even shake your hands a little bit if you've been using them, kind of rub them together. We're going to close the crown now to at least 30 or 40%. You can close it all the way, whatever feels good to you. You can leave it open, but we don't want it all the way open. There's so much energy coming in right now. Closing to about 30% of your capacity is perfect. That allows energy in, that allows intuition in, keeps things at a more even keel than being fully open, allows you to be in your body. If you're still working on embodiment and trauma healing, having your crown at about 30% will help keep you from leaving your body, which is a trauma response. Placing your hands now on your heart, giving yourself some gratitude for being in this powerful practice, giving yourself some gratitude for contributing to the collective by serving in whatever way you participated in this moment. And once more, giving some gratitude to your own personal spiritual support team who has done so much work to keep you safe, to keep you healthy, to support you in your trauma healing, in your spiritual awakening, in your journey on this planet. Sat Nam. The truth of our identity is that we are all one. We are all connected through this source energy. And as we give to others, we also allow ourselves to receive. So allow yourself to receive the support that is all around you. Know that you are worthy. Know that you are loved. Know that you are supported. As you're ready, take one more deep breath. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Begin to move your body, coming back to the rest of your day or evening, knowing that you can come back to this as often as you'd like. And as you're ready, you can open your eyes. Thank you so much for joining me. This was a little more than a mini episode, but this is important work. If it called to you, I encourage you to come back to it, but don't tap yourself out. There's no need to do this continually. Maybe doing this daily for a week or so would be amazing. Let yourself be intuitive about it. And know that no matter the outcome, you are always supported. There is a team of supporters around you at all times, wishing the best for you, sending you unconditional love, and holding space for your personal growth. Have a beautiful rest of your day or evening. I will see you next week for Wind Down Wednesdays.